You know, it's okay to use and but at the beginning of a sentence now. Yeah, it's true. The rules aren't as rigid as they used to be. Punctuation and spelling and dialects and idioms, they're all opening up like flowers, sort of assimilating these phonetic signatures. It's beautiful. After all, a full stop, period for American friends, is there to illustrate a pause. Some of our most crucial pauses are the ones followed by an and or a but. But I don't have anything more poignant to say than that last sentence. So yeah, written grammar changing to accommodate speech. This is awesome. I think this is... For once I'm not complaining. Yeah, well, I'm complaining about the complainers. Language doesn't have to stay the way it was when you were growing up, when you were cool. No, language always changes. And in many ways it changes to accommodate other languages. But even if the whole world was just one unified sort of culture and only one language was spoken about the whole world, there would still be regional sort of dialects, you know, popping up all over the world and spreading around like this weird sort of electric storm thing. It's a testament to mankind's ability to sort of ride these chaotic patterns, to sort of create something that has its own constant flux and will, you know, keep changing for as long as our species can exist. Pretty awesome, I think. Writing should accommodate speech. It's meant to be that way around. Cavemen didn't start with writing and then come on to speech. They didn't start by handing each other stone tablets with yes and no and you flank it from the left and I'll try and saw its head off with a stick. Chiseled into them. Maybe we should give this a soundtrack. No, speech came first. Writing's just a label for it. Remember this whenever you're reading a book, by the way. Looking sat there reading a book, you're thinking you're being all intelligent and expanding your mind. You're reading labels. Secondary representations. Speech itself is a representation of something actually going on. Writing is a representation of a representation. Don't fucking tell me that's high art. That's not high art in any definition. That's double diluted. Yeah, don't go acting like an intellectual just because you read books. You can read anything. You can read environments. You can read facial expressions. You can read the gallery of emotions on a person's face when they're shitting out a dead rat or something. You can read the symphony of sinful stories in any sort of room full of perverted reprobates that you get in the average room. Or you can read the masterpiece of a mountainous landscape as it wakes up in a crisp, crunchy December morning, the enriching purity of silence and intoxicating oneness of vast, endless space. And you're looking at 26 random little black shapes on a piece of pulped timber, and you think it makes you more intelligent. Oh, but a book really can transport you somewhere. You're thinking of transport. There. Books do nothing. Absolutely nothing. A book is a paperweight made of paper. Focus. I mean, if you stare at a paperweight for long enough, it'll transport your mind to fucking fantasy places, because that's what happens if you're dumb enough and or bored enough to stare at a functionless object for hours, days, weeks of your life. The things you think of when you read, the images and sounds that you imagine, that's you. That's your mind piecing together bits of your memory, like Frankenstein puppets of your life. You're not actually getting any new information there. You're just repiecing information you've already got, if you see what I mean. I'm not saying you can't get interesting facts from books. Of course you can. But you can also get interesting facts from audio and video. Yeah? But you can also see things moving and developing. Yeah? New information, new experiences, new memories. You see what I mean? Books are a fucking very quaint attempt at telling stories, I'll give you that, but you can cut this bullshit that they're better than moving talking pictures. Examine that phrase. Fucking review it. Pictures that move and talk. My friends, if you don't think that's better than 26 little black shapes, then you're the worst kind of moron there is. The kind that doesn't realise it's a moron. The kind that thinks its moronic behaviour is what makes it not a moron. As you can tell, this is coming from someone who's proud to call himself a moron. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're a good thing. It's like people who go to the cinema, right, to see a film based on a book they've already seen, and they come out of it going, "Oh, it's not the same as the book. Just if it was the same as the book, it's the same as a book, it'd be a fucking book." And you go to the cinema to stare at a fucking book you've already read and go, "Ah, fantastic, it's exactly the same experience as an experience I've already had. 10 quid well spent," I say. It's a film. It's a completely different fucking experience. It's like comparing a football game to a fucking casserole. It had some good goals, but it could have done with some rosemary. What the fuck? It's not the same as something completely different. Dicks. Yeah, it isn't what it isn't, whatever. Speaking of semiotics, as you do, why bird's eye? Bird's eye? We've got a new brand of frozen food. We should name it after an appetizing part of an animal, like chicken wing or pork belly. How about bird's eye? Yes, of course, bird's eye. Because everyone loves a bird's eye with their chips. We mainly do peas as well, and they could maybe look a bit like bird's eyes. Brilliant. This stuff markets itself. How about pig's nipple? No. We'll stick with bird's eye for now. We'll see how far we get with that, and then we'll see if we can slowly introduce pig's nipple and dog's cock and baby badger's broken sphincter. Pedigree chum, right? I can't believe they can still get away with calling it pedigree chum, given what pedigree has come to mean. Incest, yeah. It's like calling it institutionalized incest. Pal. What your dog needs is artificial deformation of an animal's entire genetic history, buddy. Imagine that on baby food or something. This product comes laced with the finest, meatiest cuts of your own warm ejaculate, ensuring that when people see your baby with its distinctive bushy tail and sideways facing legs, flat shrunken face that it can barely breathe out of, they'll say, "Well, that baby's definitely from that family." Or maybe it's just made from pedigree. Dogs. It's just chum made from pedigree. That would make sense. Like if stag chili were actually made of stag, or if Lloyd Grossman sauce were actually made from Lloyd Grossman. Like they just cut chunks off his body and throw them in the blender and he just regenerates. Why wouldn't he? Like Uncle Ben. What if Uncle Ben's rice were actually made from Uncle... I don't know how you get rice from a person. Who says Uncle Ben is a person? Maybe Uncle Ben is just the name they have for their giant fucking rice whale beast. Cheerios, right? What if Cheerios were actually made from Cheerios? Physical manifestations of those moments of whimsy when you casually say goodbye to someone. Cheerio! And some little elves go around and collect them. Put them in boxes. Where was it going with this? Oh, incest. Yeah. Bestial incest. Is that even possible? Bestial incest. Isn't it a bit of fucked that incest is sort of illegal and so is bestiality? I mean, to talk about stacking the deck, I'm getting some mixed messages here. Alright, so a cat is too far from me, but my little brother is too close to me. Oh, where the fuck am I supposed to go? Well, yeah, it was my little... Well, of course nobody got pregnant. Oh, so that's okay. So that's the message I'm leaving you with, folks. If you're going to have a sexual relationship with a family member, make sure it's strictly homosexual. Have whatever operations are necessary for this, and the world's your oyster. In fact, if you're going to use protection, then fuck it, just have at it. Fuck anyone you want. Just don't have any frumpy little fucking penguin babies, yeah? Because you'll only end up with a royal family, and those things are really, really expensive.